Yo, this is Dane Thomas. Hanging out here in Ubud in Bali. Got still a few days left. Been quite sick. I did a video about that the other day. Been kind of sick and purging some shit out of my system, and tracking it through the lens of traditional Chinese medicine. Lots of kidney stuff and lots of like liver, gallbladder stuff. And I've been feeling this anger and resentment coming up, you know? Frustration, kind of fuck everything sort of an attitude. And you know, I've had not much energy, so I've basically been sleeping, occasional stretch, and then watch a few movies, sleeping, and then sometimes scroll social media. And fuck, social media is so annoying. Like, and I am friends with wonderful people, but the bullshit that I fucking read every day is just so annoying. And, you know, the hardest thing about being a conscious person, whatever the fuck that even means, is that you can't just kind of spew out a rant, or you can, but on another level, you know it's all about you, right? On another level, if I am to launch into some scathing criticism of all the things that annoy me, which I'm probably about to do all the same, I have to on some level entertain the fact and look at the reality that those things are, guess what, a reflection of me. And I know some people now push back against that idea, but it's usually because they don't want to look at something, you know? They're usually very attached to the victim consciousness or the self-righteous position, which don't get me wrong, I'm too. But if we're fucking really honest, we gotta look, yeah? So I'm gonna do a spontaneous unpack of some of the things that are irritating me, and I'm gonna also see if I can do my best to own some of those things. So look, what's there? Number one, it's gonna be a numbered list. Number one is all these, you know, young, millennial isn't even fucking young anymore, but young people, you know, portraying themselves as inspirational teachers, you know, spiritual leaders, yeah? It's just so much fucking bullshit, you know? It is so much of a self-aggrandizing fucking wank to call yourself a spiritual teacher even. It's just, you know, come on. You know, you're not Eckhart Tolle, you're just someone sharing a few quotes here and there, or some videos of yourself gyrating in your underwear, or fucking, you know, your coaching business or whatever. Like, you're not a spiritual leader, okay? You're not. So that's one of the things that's just really fucking bothering me lately. still sick. So where does that reflect on me? The false prophet? Totally. I, you know, in 2013 positioned myself heavily as, like, I thought I was the new Messiah, you know? I went hardcore with that stuff. You know, my ideas are revolutionary. The stuff that I'm doing is going to change the world. Still hope it is on some level, but, you know, the further I go, the more I recognize my own flawedness, my own humanity, and I recognize how much of the stuff that I've built, and especially what goes on social media and what I've put on social media, is just pure fucking ego, and it's pure, you know, it's driven from a need. A lot of mine, I'll own it. You know, a lot of what I have shared over the last 5 or 6, if I've been doing this for longer than that, 7 years, is purely out of a need to be significant, which is based on a deep-seated fear that I'm not enough, right? I fucking said it. And I guess I'm really getting deep into the recognition of that right now, that a lot of what I've created, or a lot of what I've pumped out into the world, is to appease this deep-seated fear of not being enough. Ouch. And I guess I'm seeing that reflected back. You know, a lot of people many of whom are following in my footsteps, you know, many of whom I've influenced, or people like me or my wave have influenced. And I'm just seeing this disingenuousness, and it's fucking burning at me. But I'm guilty of that, of portraying myself as more than, as more advanced than, as more aware than. And there's certainly some gifts that I have developed, but they're just human fucking gifts, you know, like being smart or understanding certain ideas, or having practiced a certain modality a bunch. It's not a spiritual superpower, really, you know. It's just development along one line of being, and if we look at another line, like say being able to clean my fucking house or something really basic, I'm hopeless in that department. So one thing I'm getting forced to own is my own lack of spiritual masterness, lack of thought leaderness, you know, like I guess I'm getting the message to be done with that contrivance, you know. That's number one. Number two, look, I'm here in Bali. I gotta be honest, I'm fucking struggling with the goddess thing, you know, and I guess it's an extension of what I just named, you know, this spiritual ego piece. It's an interesting one because this is squarely leveled at women, yet I know, once again, it's going to be reflecting something in me, and it maybe is a little harder to unpack because of the gender perception. But for those of you who aren't switched on to this, you know, I guess it's the modern new age, especially as affected by social media thing, where every, you know, young woman, mostly I'd say 20s and 30s, is really wielding this label, is defining themselves as a goddess, you know. And for a while I thought it was cool, I guess, because I saw women coming into deeper embodiment, into more backing themselves, you know. But now there's just something gross about it for me. There's just something over the top and phony about using these words. I guess, again, it's this spiritual materialism, spiritual bypassing fucking... and I guess it comes back to a wound, you know? It comes back to a wound. I'm going to reverse it around on myself, you know? Maybe it's just the closest thing is like this idea of being like, I like to portray myself as a wizard, you know, as having magical powers. I've never gone full god, you know. It doesn't show up the same on the male side. It's like, we are gods. I am Zeus, you know. We're not doing that. I feel like the female empowerment thing is such a unstoppable tide that not many people are questioning these chicks who want to call themselves goddesses. But if a dude was to be like, I am a god, it would just seem kind of ridiculous. But I guess, yeah, what it comes back to, if I'm going to try own it, is this desire to be more than, this desire to be superhuman. You know, this belief that being a human is not enough. You know, being a frail, vulnerable, fucked up, uncertain human being somehow isn't enough. And I've held that feeling in my body for a long, long time, that I'm not enough as just I can't be a regular guy. Fuck that, you know. I'm not a regular guy. I'm fucking magic. I'm, you know, special. And, you know, we're all special, but we're all also not that special. Let's be honest, you know. We are all as lost as each other. And, you know, I know it feels good to swell ourselves up as to be more than we are, and I have been a fucking master of that, but I just don't resonate with it anymore. I'm realizing, you know, I'm having the realization of how full of shit that I've been, and how much I've pimped my feminine, you know, my emotionality, my intuition, my connection to the mystical or the creative or the spiritual, you know, has been used as a marketable asset. And I don't want to do that anymore. That's what I'm realizing. Which takes me to number three. So the third thing in my self-owned rant is just the fucking marketplace, you know? Like, everyone's selling something. Like, everyone is fucking selling a program, and this is such a paradoxical place because, you know, I don't want to discourage anyone who's doing really cool stuff. You know, so please don't be discouraged by me, especially if I've been someone who's inspired you or supported you in some way. This is not telling anyone to stop doing what they're doing. But I'm struggling with the sheer amount of just fucking push-based selling, you know, this program, this retreat, that course, you know, this boot camp, this fucking apprenticeship, that, it's like, fuck, do we really need it all? Do we really need it all? And again, I'm aware of the paradox here, you know, like the tools I've created with Spiral, you know, they're really potent, they really can accelerate your journey, but do you need them? No, you do not have to, you don't have to have them, you know? You don't have to do the goddess circle priestess menstruating Dakini retreat to be in your feminine. You don't have to do the fucking men under the waterfall to fucking singing in brotherhood to be a man. You don't have to fucking join all the marketing summits and coaching schools to be a coach. I mean, does everyone have to be a coach, really? You know, I guess we've latched on that it's an easy model. It's an easy model to make money in, and that's the honest truth, right? It's so much more leverageable than having a job. It's so much more easier to sell the idea that you can help people or guide people, and fuck, you can. You know, I'm not shitting on everyone doing this, but we have created. You know, we're still extending this consumerist energy in many levels, you know, and you know, and I get there's a privilege for me to be able to say this in that, you know, I've built a business that runs, you know, I'm self-sustaining. I can fucking, I don't have to worry about where my cash flow is coming from. I don't have to worry about, I don't have to sell myself day to day online anymore in the same way. But I tell you what, it's still been hard to break the habit because I feel like I was never doing it for the money. I was doing it for the significance, you know, and a genuine desire to help people. So I know I'm not saying that it's all fake, okay? I have been driven by a huge desire to contribute in my life, but I also have been driven by a need to be someone and to be someone important and to be seen as significant. And you know, as I've gone into these, particularly the kidney chi energy thing, you know, it's about rest, and the burnout, the adrenal burnout sort of thing is a lot to do with us pumping really hard in the world to prove that we are someone, to prove that we are something, because we feel like we're not. And you know, for me, my journey is coming into more the practice of self-acceptance at the moment, and I guess that's revealing, you know, that's showing things around me that are all things that I've done and that I do. And I'm like, oh, this is so gross and crap and fake and shit. And so I'm not here to call bullshit on anyone else. I'm calling it on those parts of myself gently, you know, and they've served really well. And I'm still going to probably use them when they're useful. But here's to going inwards, you know, here's to deeper self-acceptance, and here's to not needing to be anything bigger than what we are. Yeah, so that's my little rant for now. Hopefully it's a little more balanced than some of the rants I've done in the past, And peace out. Love you. Bye.